Welcome back to another episode of On the Subject. I'm your host, Michael Vilardo, co-founder and CEO of Subject.com. You know where to find us. We have an incredibly special guest today. We're making this tour across the country, doing shows in a variety of states to highlight innovation and education. And our guest today is one of the most innovative leaders in New Mexico. We're out here in Las Cruces. We're really lucky to be here and leading agriculture studies, which is such an innovative part of the solutions of career and technical education today, specifically in New Mexico. There's been such great strides made in the last 2 decades. So thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Kim O'Byrne, thank you for your time today.
Wow, thank you. It's like, I only hope I can live up to all of that.
Oh, no, just being yourself. And thank you. We always like to start with gratitude here. Thank you for all that you've done for students over the years. We live every day for students and teachers. And so what you've done to help students is super inspiring to us. And so why did you want to help students? Why did you want to get into teaching?
Oh my goodness. So I started late too. So it combined the two things that I love the most, teaching and agriculture. So I got to combine and do both of those. And through the years, it's just been so rewarding to be able to work with the things that I love the most and to be able to see kids grow and exceed and far surpass what I've taken them to. So, and the great part about it is that reward often comes much later. So I'm about to work with one of the students that I had years ago who went the first animal science class that I ever had, who went through the first animal science career development event in our career technical student organization, FFA. And now she's actually going to be the veterinarian who is in our clinic that we're developing in. So it's like, it comes full circle. So
Wow.
it's like, sometimes you don't always get those rewards until you get to, later in life. And it's like, oh, it always is a huge reward to get to see where kids land when you've worked with them.
Yeah, delayed gratification, the best things in
Oh,
life. DG,
yes.
I always say DG, delayed gratification.
You bet.
Don't put your urges ahead of your goals because your goals can be so much more fulfilling. And when you have that delayed gratification, your happiness is so high. And so you talked about ag and now animal science. Well, what's all in the program? Could you bring us up to speed? This is so innovative, hence why you're on the show. I'm from Chicago growing up. We didn't have any of these classes at my school. And so I always say, if you don't see it, you can't dream it. So if I'm not exposed to this, how am I ever going to even be aware of these possibilities? So what's your program like and what have you been able to develop?
Yeah, very good. And actually, you have a very innovative farm right in the middle of Chicago that is in a school because I've done some professional development.
Let's go.
So you will have to check
I got to
that
go
out.
back.
Yes.
I got to go back to high school.
There you go. So we live in the chili capital of the world. They're in Hatch,
Yes.
New Mexico. And so if you're not involved in agriculture, which you are, because you either consume it or you produce it. So it's the one thing that everybody has to have every day. Sometimes I don't think they realize that it comes from a field. It doesn't just come from a store. We are actually when we talked about some of the issues that were in agriculture, one of them was water, the scarcity of it and the cost of it and the need to find ways to deal with that. So we researched, we did a lot of work. And so we were able to obtain a grant. We obtained a grant. And so with that, we put in a freight farm. So it'll grow 3.5 acres of crop using 97% less water. So, and it's all done through technology. So it's computerized, you put in the recipes and we just planted our first trays of lettuce. So we'll have 500 head of lettuce to actually harvest on December 17th.
Wow.
And then every week after that, we'll be harvesting over 500 head of lettuce. We're only farming half the farm right now until we make sure that we're able to get this done. And then we'll put in the other half of the farm. The other thing that we're doing is one of the other things that we noticed is that, we have a lot of stray animals and our kids don't really have a way to be able to intern or to work in the medical field. So we decided, I have a good friend who teaches on the reservation in Cayente, Arizona. And I've been to his facility numerous times taking kids. And why can't we do something similar here? We're putting in a veterinary clinic that will run a couple days a week. And on the other days of the week, the kids will be doing grooming. So they'll be running a grooming business where they get hands-on experience. And like I say, you can't learn something until you get your hands dirty. Got to get your hands on it to really, truly appreciate what you need to know. I feel like it makes learning relevant.
Yes, you got to have that quick that feedback loop and being able to get into the weeds or the
Right.
trenches is how. And you had mentioned something off camera before that I thought was really exciting. Talk about the TikTokification of education or just anything with young people. Gen Alpha just entered high
Yeah.
school. How has it been so impactful, you having the hands-on experience at helping kids not just sit at a desk 8 hours a day? They're actually doing things.
Well, last week we were planting the seeds in the lettuce in the freight farm, and we had some students come out, and these were not students who love school. They were all students
And
who,
those are the students we owe it to the
yeah,
most to help.
yes, exactly. Those are the students we need to reach.
Yes.
And so they were simply planting seeds and in the environment of the freight farm. And when we told them, all right, it's time to go back, and please, can we just stay longer? It's like, please, can we
Wow.
stay out here? It's like, how many times has anybody ever asked, like, please, can we
Yeah,
stay in
stay at
class
school
a little
longer.
bit longer?
That is
So
amazing.
that's what you want, and that's what we're trying to do, is offer opportunities to kids. We also put in with this, we were able to put in a tower garden in every single elementary classroom as well. So we're preparing them at the elementary level with some hydroponic
That's huge.
opportunities. You know what? I got to watch bilingual first grade class talk to me in Spanish about how important pH is in plants. That is really an upper level science skill. And for them to be able to do it in their own language and in that level is huge. I expect to see things change. I mean, it's going to take time, but I see things start to shift, and they're moving towards a higher level, a higher skill level, and being able to actually show what they know. So that's a
Yeah,
huge
because New
plus.
Mexico or Hatch is a very diverse district
Oh,
and
you bet.
a really large Latino population. I'm Colombian, dual citizen, and grew up in an EL household. I think it's really exciting, some of this stuff with the bilingual education. Could you tell us more about how that has progressed in the district?
Oh, certainly. And that was also one of our focuses. We hired an EL, a language person, to actually make those connections with the families. And so we've been involving the families more in the educational process, I, and hopefully making them feel more comfortable about coming
Yes.
into the school. I think that's huge. Our district is, um, you know, at a level where we receive 100% free lunches. And so just because they don't, you know, if we can meet those needs and meet them where they're at,
Yep.
there's no reason why those kids can't shine. Actually feel like sometimes they feel like, why do we deserve this? It's like they're very humble and very, like they don't understand why they deserve that. It's like, I want them to know, like, not only do you deserve it, but you need to have that extra something. Nobody else in our state has a freight farm. Nobody in our state has a veterinary clinic. I want them to feel proud and like they're doing something that is above and beyond because they deserve it. And I know a lot of times people say, can't do this, they can't do that. It's like, I don't even like to look at that. I like to look
Agreed. It's
at
all
what
about the
they
kids.
can do,
Yeah.
not what they can't do. And I really see, like, already our kids are already so excited and are doing above where they should be doing or what's expected of them to do. So to me, that's what it's about, is that bonus of seeing kids shine. And when they do, they get caught, and there's no telling the sky's the limit. So,
Well, I love how passionate you are about the students and that, student-centered approach is just goes so far. And so, how were you able to get such great district buy-in to be lone veterinary, care in the entire state or all these, this innovation, it takes you being able to sell your vision. What were you able to do so successfully? I'm super impressed.
well, my superintendent has been key in that. He actually sees the vision, and we've developed. It doesn't mean everybody it buys into this. It's like we still have a lot to do to get it going. I think a lot of people, because they can't see what's happening in the freight farm, think that it's going to become a storage unit or something. But I think you have actions speak louder than words.
Agreed.
And I think that sometimes, you can tell your story and share your story. I think as they start to see benefits, when kids start learning and when they start, really getting like where they want to come to school, they don't want to miss school because they want to be involved. I think that's when you'll start to see a difference and a paradigm shift where you start to acknowledge maybe that is working.
Oh, yeah. And
So,
when you make more fun for the students, more fun for the educator, that's where you see better attendance, better enrollment, higher for
you
your
bet.
graduation rate. And that helps the school get more funding and then be able to have everyone have a better chance of success, create more jobs. And so it's just a really exciting cycle of success. And I love everything that you're doing there. And, the biggest thing we always try to do when we wrap these conversations is, if you were to speak to yourself 20, 30 years ago when you're entering teaching, what would you say to that person based on what you've learned now? And how would you get back to that younger version of yourself?
Actually, I just had a conversation with Mr. Chavez
Yeah.
here not too long ago. I said, and if I was only younger so that I could do this, I would say just keep working and keep, push. It's going to be hard. And there are people who will tell you can't. There
Yes.
are people who will say it's a dumb idea. There are
Yep.
people who will say, why would you want to do that? It takes too much time or it takes too much money. Like, do it anyway. It's for the kids. And
It's for the
I
kids.
think that's those kids are going to be taking care of me someday.
Yep.
Those kids are going to be running our country. Those kids
Yes, they are.
ones-
They're the future
Yes,
leaders of
they're
society.
the future leaders. I want to do my best to prepare them for whatever, to be critical thinkers. I'm not teaching them what to think. I'm teaching them how to think. And I think that's big, big kicker right there is, what I teach them is going to be outdated very soon. But if I can teach them the skills to learn new things and to try new things and not to be afraid of stepping outside of what is normal and what is
Yes.
accepted, then I think
Yes.
that's the key right there. So,
Yeah, you're going to face haters and doubters your whole life.
all your life.
And
Yeah.
you got to be good at being able to overcome. And, I love what you had to say, because if you give someone a fish, you feed them a day, but if you teach them how to fish, they can feed
Right.
themselves for life. And so
Right.
no, I really appreciate all your insight, Kim. Where can we find you on social? Where should we tell the fans to be able to find you on social? Anywhere you want them to go?
Yeah.
Do you have LinkedIn presence, Facebook?
I do have Facebook, Instagram.
There we go.
Snapchat.
Facebook,
There you
Instagram,
go.
maybe even Snapchat. But we really want to continue to highlight the most innovative practice in education, and some of these programs, we need them throughout the U.S. And again, I love that there's one in Chicago now, but where I grew up, Cary, Illinois, small town, and then I actually went to high school in Ann Arbor, Michigan for a year as well. Never heard of any of this. And so I'm super excited and indebted to you bringing this to the forefront. And if we could help inspire some other schools to do the same, what a special butterfly effect that is. And so thank you for another incredible episode of On the Subject. I'm your host, Michael Vilardo. You know where to find us: Spotify, YouTube. Click subscribe, like the video down below. And thank you so much for your time today. It was so much fun.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Yes.